Hey, you guys, it's Life of Nikki Lee podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing well and living your fullest every day. So I know it's been a little while since we last spoke, but I want to just touch bases on some things that, has happened since we did our last podcast. And I do also want to let my subscribers know I will be hitting another crime story on the podcast tomorrow. I'm going to try to make that a theme every Saturday if I can, okay? So just, lining up some stuff for you guys. So one of the things that we talked about on a previous podcast was Jay-Z, because, they had his accuser come out and saying him and Diddy, assaulted her and things like that. Now, since then, quite a lot has happened. The accuser, they said they found some, inconsistencies in her story. And, also he's going after Jaguar, y'all. Oh my gosh. Now this is going to be quite interesting because it's almost like some people were like, is he going to ever go after her? Like, what's this coming to? Is she just going to always say what she wants to say? Like, is she going to keep exposing him? What's true and what's not true? And if it's not true, why won't he say anything? Well, like, now the gloves are off. He's going after everybody. He's going after Tony Busby. He's going after Jag. He's going after, the accuser. Like, he's standing on business. But I also want to address this because I want people to understand that, I don't take a biased side to things. I do try to look at things from a neutral standpoint. Excuse me. I do try to look at things from a neutral standpoint. But if you have been looking at Diddy, if you have been looking at Jay-Z, if you listen to their music, if you follow their careers, not just, professional wise, but like kind of personally, if you've heard things or overall just know the backstory of their coming up and things like that, it does kind of give you an idea of how they are and why they think the way they think. And when I say that, what I'm talking about is I know people were kind of on the defense with Jay-Z. A lot of people were like, oh, why do people just, want to see a black man go down and this and that. I don't glorify that. I want to make that clear. I do not glorify the taking down of anyone, especially a black man, okay? Anyone. But I want people to understand, like, if you've really been following this man, if you really have been following Sean Carter, if you have been looking at the ins and outs of his career and his personal life and things that have happened, you should understand why people have kind of formed that opinion like, okay, this dude isn't innocent, and everybody, like, as far as the allegations, you're innocent until proved guilty. But what I'm saying is, don't just assume that everybody's lying on these guys. Because, see, that was what happened with Diddy. People are like, oh, you just want to take another black man down. Like, no, that's not always the case. Like, sometimes these dudes be really doing some dirt, y'all. And that's not, hating them or wanting them to be brought down. That's just telling the honest to goodness truth. We don't want to believe those things always because you do want to see someone from our community do good. But let's just be honest. There's some dirt in the game. There's some dirt in the game. And I'm telling you, my alarm went off when Jay-Z's lawyer said that him and Diddy were not friends. Yeah, he came out and he denies Jay-Z and Diddy being friends. And we all know that is some straight bullshit. You have seen how close these guys are. They've been in very close circles for a very long time. And I get it. Diddy's on a sinking ship right now. Like, these allegations, a lot of these allegations that have been brought against him, it's looking what it's looking like. And a lot of proof because he, before that whole Cassie tape came out, Diddy was getting ready to lie again, acting like someone was just out to tarnish his character, when in reality, this man is abusive. He's taken advantage of so many people. I mean, and there's no denying it. And people are distancing themselves from Diddy because, like I said, people know a sinking ship when they see one. Because even if Diddy, like I said on the last podcast, even if he does not go to jail, his name's never going to be the same again. His reputation's never going to be the same again. He's done too much. He's done too much and it's gone too far. And see, Jay-Z, I believe he is in the same boat. How are you guys not friends? And everybody knows that interview where Diddy said that Jay-Z is the only person, I guess, outside of his mother that he lets call him Sean. Okay? And I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, y'all. I'm really not. But that performance that they did, Diddy slapping Jay-Z on his ass. Come on now. First of all, most men don't even allow that. Like, I've seen, athletes or whatever. But again, we're talking about men who are friends, men who are close with each other. Only men who are like friends would let another guy do that. Because for the most part, ain't no guy gonna let another guy smack him on his ass. And it was there in plain view for everybody to see on that performance. If they were not close as friends to some kind of extent, that wouldn't be going down, because the way Jay-Z was brought up, he's come straight from the streets. You already know he's not someone who's just, trust people like that. Him and Sean Diddy Combs have been running together in close circles for a long time in the music game, in their personal lives. So Jay-Z definitely knows some stuff. He may never acknowledge it or bring it to anyone's attention, of course, but to say that they're not friends, it's kind of given like, I don't want you associating with me with that because I don't want you digging into my backyard. That's honestly what it's giving. And like I said, it's no hate, it's no shade, but you got to call, a spade sometimes. And I think people get so caught up in, glorifying, they, these men made it. They did this, they did that. They just don't want to see a brother do good. Sometimes y'all need to be very upfront and honest and just say, you know what? Sometimes people did a little dirt before they got the spotlight. And there's no hate and there's no shame in it. But again, you're calling it what it is. So we're just going to continue to see how those events turn. I believe they said they're going to trial in May. So, we're going to continue to see as this whole thing unfolds. And Tony Busby, he says he's going to represent Jag. Jaguar Wright did a live not too long ago where and she showed where the Tony Busby firm reached out to her. So you guys, this is going to be something else. But I'll tell you something, she better get something in order, because Jay-Z's coming for her now. Like, I think it's just gotten to the point where he's like, he doesn't want his name in anybody's mouth if they're not talking about business or money on the legit side. But like I said, sometimes when you've done some dirt in the past, it'll come back. It really will. So with that being said, let's move on to the drones, the infamous drones that people have been seeing in the sky. Now, when I first, and this is why I wasn't just too quick to just run to the podcast and talk about it, because when I first saw the footage, I know my sister was telling me, have you seen the news coverage about the drones, girl, this and that. First of all, y'all, let me tell you this. Learn to think for yourself sometimes, okay? I don't care what anybody says. These drones, which people have said has been, hovering mostly in the Northeast. They've been hovering over Navy ships. They've come out of the water and all these things. And the U.S. government is saying, now this is my opinion now, solely my opinion, okay? For the U.S. government to say they don't know what the hell these things are, I call BS. I call straight BS. They they know what they are. I believe the government is behind these drones. And I'll just be very honest about that, because why would you have SUV-sized drones in the sky and they're circling around particular areas and you haven't shot one down to see what it is? Keep in mind last year, you guys, those so-called UAPs, those weather balloons, that what they wanted people to believe was weather balloons, were floating in the sky, and they got shot down. And we never really got any full answers on what those things were. Were they really weather balloons? So, my opinion, I feel like it's a distraction from something much bigger, because our country is taking a turn of events right now, and there's just a lot going on. There is a lot going on, you guys. So do I believe the U.S. government doesn't know what these things are? Hell no. I think they come straight from the U.S. government, and I think these drones are a distraction from something much bigger that's going on in the world. I don't believe it has anything to do with extraterrestrials, because let me tell you something. Extraterrestrials, in my opinion, would be far more advanced, and unless they just want you to see them and make full contact, they'll let you know. But if they were planning something malicious or any kind of sabotage, if they were going to do something, dealing with a highly advanced extraterrestrial, you wouldn't see it coming. You wouldn't see it coming. And I just feel like they damn sure wouldn't send a bunch of drones. It would be something that's going to put in some work, So I just have my own theory based on that, because I just don't feel that it's coming from any kind of outside source. I feel like it's the U.S. government. I feel like they know about it. And like I said, we're getting into the point where Trump's about to take office in, 2025. And I don't know, but it's just the timing. If you look at the timing of things, and then stuff that's happening in social media, and people are coming together and talking about, how all these things are happening, like the higher ups and the evils of the world, of how people are trying to control things. And then these drones pop up. I mean, don't you think that's a little weird? Yeah. So you form your own opinion of it, but, time will tell. But I will always just tell people, think for yourself and look beyond the surface, because a lot of things that are happening in this world, they want you to be dumb. They don't want you to be someone that thinks for yourself. And you just can't allow yourself to be manipulated by the media, okay? Because, honey, the media has a lot to do with a lot of the shit show that goes on, and what they try to make people believe, and how they try to instill fear. So that's just my opinion on that. Last thing I want to touch bases on is the whole Travis Hunter thing and his girlfriend. Listen, for those that don't know, Travis Hunter, he's a young guy. He plays for the University of Colorado, I believe. And he followed Coach Deion Sanders. Y'all know him as Coach Prime. He followed him from Jackson State to Colorado to continue playing football. He recently won the Heisman Trophy. Now, while these are great accomplishments, unfortunately, they've been overshadowed by his little girlfriend, who I'll say fiance, because they're supposed to be getting married in May of next year. So she's been ranting and raving. She's, they've seen her, bickering or going back and forth. Apparently, she's had some issues, like when he has some interactions with fans. And also, some footage has hit the internet where they were talking about how they first met. She basically, in so many words, said she wasn't attracted to him. she said he wasn't her type. And a lot of people were just telling this man, like, look, don't marry this girl. You know, you're going to regret it. You know, she's with you for the money, this, and that. And even when he won the Heisman Trophy, like, she didn't even stand for him. You kind of saw Coach Prime nudge her, like, girl, stand up for your man. You know, this is an accomplishment, you know. But you could just kind of tell from outside looking in when somebody, I don't know. It's weird. It's so weird when you're with someone and they give that energy of they want all the attention. And despite your best accomplishments, they still want to focus on them. It's just, I hate stuff like that. I really, really do. Now, I don't know them personally, and outside looking in, it does look janky. And, you know, he basically has taken to social media and telling people, hey, you know, this is my girl. This is our relationship. Everybody mind your business. Well, you know, go ahead, do what you do, player. But I'm telling you like this, don't be surprised when you get that short end of the stick, because everybody knows, like, with playing football, while it is a great accomplishment, if you get drafted, that's wonderful. But also keep in mind what the old heads say when they say the NFL stands for not for long. Everybody gets excited when somebody gets drafted for the NFL, but you got to think there's not always longevity for players in the NFL. And they go and they get these women, and y'all think y'all about to live the life. And God forbid if that player catches an injury of some sort where they can't play as effectively, the NFL sends them right home. You lose those endorsements, you lose those sponsorships, you lose a lot. And I think a lot of people don't really look at the downside of that. These men go and they have their families, and then before you know it, you know, lavish spending and all these things, and they don't consider it. They just want to have the aesthetics of, I've made it, you know, look at me. I have my racially ambiguous girlfriend. I've made my money, you know, I'm living the life. I really made it. And then the downside of it is that money can go fast if it's not properly spent, if it's not properly managed, you know, and then you bring kids in the mix, and you got to take care of your kids. What happens when the money's gone, and then the wife is like, oh, I'm leaving your ass, but you still got to take care of these children. And I think a lot of young men, they see the glitz and the glam of getting the spotlight when you're an athlete, but they don't know the downside to it, or they're not really, you know, paying attention to this could potentially happen. They come in to the game of sports kind of being a novice. And unless you got the right people behind you and the right support team and, you know, PR, which I feel this young man needs, him and his fiance, you know, it's kind of like watching a train wreck. But I wish him the best. I wish Travis Hunter the best. I hope this young lady that, you know, seeing how people have been dragging them in the media, especially her, I hope she just takes a good look at herself and realizes that this is not how she needs to represent herself as a young lady. And that's not how she needs to represent her fiance, you know, because it's a lot. And people, if you get mad about him interacting with fans, girl, what are you going to do when he's on the road and you can't come to every game? You know, it's like you're going to have to, you girl, pull that shit together. You don't want, and then these women out here, if they find out you're the jealous type, they'll try you and they'll come at your man just to piss you off. And they'll do it just for sport, just for the hell of pissing you off. I'm telling you. So hopefully she gets it together. I wish them well. I don't know how the dynamic of their relationship is, but he's obviously in love and she's obviously in love with the life. I hope it works out, man. I don't want to see any brother go down, but I was just looking at that like, brother man, you better know what you're doing. You better have a prenup in order. And that's another thing. She wants to get married in Tennessee. She's very adamant about that. Now, why does she want to get married in Tennessee? Tennessee does not honor prenup laws. So if something goes wrong or whatever the case may be and they break up, she's still going to be entitled to his shit, basically. And then if she has kids, it's a wrap. So I hope whatever decision he makes, I hope he takes a hard look at it, and I hope that he makes the best decision for him. All right, you guys. So that's going to wrap up this segment. We will be back tomorrow with another podcast, another crime story. Can't wait to share that with you guys. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about the whole Jay-Z and Diddy and them, disassociating from Diddy. And also let me know what you think about the drones. Let me know what you think about these relationships, what you think the outcome of Travis Hunter and his girl will be. And I'll be back to see you on the next one. This is Nikki Lee signing out. Talk to you later. Bye.